So, the Acolyte, the gift that keeps on giving. I am so ready to be fucking done talking about this shit. And then Amandla Stenberg, to follow up her diss track, goes out and makes a response to the Acolyte getting canceled last week. And yeah, it wasn't good. It's the alt-right. It's the alt-right, guys.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the low viewership, not in the slightest.
Our Star Wars show has been canceled. And I'm gonna be transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me. For those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and when no one had even seen it. And that's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language.
She sounds like a fucking 12-year-old.
You could see her looking to did I get all the check boxes? Yeah. Okay.
How is that conservative?
Bigoted and hyper conservative.
So my favorite part of this is actually in the beginning when she's like, I can't tell you how much I hate doing this. I hate just speaking off the top of my head and not reading my thoughts on a cue card. That's just so ironic because it's very true for a lot of these actors and actresses. But one of the interesting things I took away from this 8-minute and 30-second speech about the Acolyte was there was no, hey guys, we see all you out there pushing for a season 2. Keep at it. We really appreciate it. Maybe something can change. It was a very resigned, this show's canceled. Canceled those racist bigots and people in the alt-right. And I expected it after so much racist backlash that they just cancel it.
There is nobody at Lucasfilm that wanted to cancel this show. If anything, they were going to go out of their way to keep this show going. Yep. The fact that they felt that they had to cancel it after one season, it just shows you that it was even worse than we imagined. It was even worse than what we reported.
But that's the subtext of all of this. If you're saying that toxic fans hated the show and didn't watch the show, and that's why it got cancelled, well, now toxic fans just mean the majority of the Star Wars audience.
Exactly.
Which means you should make things for those toxic fans. Whether you agree with them or not, it doesn't matter what they want. It doesn't matter who they want. It doesn't matter if they are all the things that you say they are. You still need to make them, or just stop making stuff for Star Wars. Those are your only choices.
Yes. Yep. I don't know why the alt-right didn't show up for the first couple seasons for Mandalorian, Andor, but glad Steve Bannon made the call, sent the email out, mobilized everybody to take down the Acolyte, because that was clearly the priority there. So stupid, man.
It's so pathetic, and it really shows just how awful most modern actors are. Encapsulated in this, she can't take any responsibility for the terrible performance, her attitude, driving away fans, or anything like that. No, it's everyone else's fault, and they're racist, and they just hate me because I'm black. It's she's so vapid and narcissistic.
She gave a horrific performance in The Acolyte, both as May and Osha. It was not good. She was not the biggest problem with the show. The biggest problem with the show at the core was the writing. Yep. It wouldn't matter who was in that role. Somebody could give a very compelling performance, and at the end of the day, you might be trying to polish a turd because it was abysmal writing.
Yep. If Kathleen Kennedy hadn't come out and said what she said something about it's hard for women to get in.
Male Star Wars fans.
Male
it's so
Star
hard
Wars fans.
for women.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard for women that we put in leadership roles to make terrible things here, because you know what happens? They make something bad and they get criticized.
Yeah.
How is that supposed to happen? That's not okay.
So they brought this all on themselves. You start a war with your paying customer, and whether she's being specific to a group or not, it goes out like scattershot. It hits everybody, and they get fucking pissed off every time. The best thing to do is shut the fuck up. You think Kathleen Kennedy would know that at this point?
Yeah.
When it was announced, right, after the terrible failure of Rise of Skywalker, the next project that Disney announced a few months after that, it comes out about The Acolyte. No, we didn't know it was called The Acolyte at the time. It was just female-focused Star Wars project led by Leslie Headland. So we're thinking, okay, this is the only thing you have to tell us. It's going to be female focused after everything we just watched. Okay, got it. Leslie Headland. Who is Leslie Headland? Oh, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. Let's look at Leslie Headland. Oh, she deleted dozens and dozens of tweets right before the big announcement was made. Wow. So there was a lot of people questioning, okay, why are you having Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant here? And why is the only thing you have to tell us about this show is that it's female focused? So those throw up some like red flags, right? So there was people wondering what this would be. Then we get told what the show is about by Leslie Headland. She starts doing interviews talking about her relationship with her sister, blah, blah, all this stuff. Then we hear the cast and crew at Star Wars Celebration. And instead of talking about Star Wars, instead of talking about, hey, this is really why we want to honor this and do that, they're just talking about diversity and representation and all this stuff. Leslie Headland, 3 years before the show came out, said that the Acolyte is going to represent her identity and experience as a queer person. So we had all these questions and criticisms surrounding what you want this show to be. And then it turns out that that's exactly what the show was. It's not like it just came out of nowhere that there was people that were worried about this show to begin with.
It's also a standard they set for themselves. You can't go through the entire Me Too era, and you can't go through all of that saying if you've ever, particularly as a man, sent so much as like an unwanted text to a woman, you must be drummed out of the industry. And then say, no, you're not allowed to point out that Leslie Headland was the actual PA for actual fucking Harvey Weinstein. Which of these two things do you want to run with? Either we're in like full believe all women Me Too stuff, or we're not. But don't try and say, okay, yeah, Me Too is great right up until the point in which a woman is involved in it, and then it's not operative at all. Like, that's fair to point out as hypocrisy, right?
And here's the thing. If it was actually good, we've proven that we would acknowledge if it was good, even with red flags before. Happened with House of Dragon, happened with the Dungeons and Dragons film. Okay, came out, they were actually good. And so it's not like
Shad like Twilight.
I like Twilight. So it's not like pre-criticism, right? Will stop us from either enjoying something or acknowledging if it's good when it comes out. But guess what? Acolyte was one of the most arse shows ever released. And so that's why it was passing.
The Acolyte lost Grace Randolph. Do you have any idea how bad?
You had to try really hard to
early on.
Grace.
Really, really hard.
All right. Wait, are you not upset? No, why would I? This happens every week. Hey, Scott, you remember the protocol? I do. So we turned off the comment section on all social media posts. We released 24 fake news articles saying that it was the greatest thing mankind's ever created, and bribed 12,000 movie critics to give it a generous 10 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's make that an 8 out of 10. We got to make sure people somewhat believe it. Yeah, wait, but sir, what about the 100,000 audience reviews that says the show sucks massive horse Well, the critics say it's really good, so why would that matter? Right. You really just paid them to say that. And I pay you to shut the up, so let's do that. Anyways, guys, now we need someone to blame for this terrible show other than ourselves. Does anyone have any thoughts? The producer, the writers, George Lucas. Hey, keep George out of your mouth. Well, we could try gaslighting the public. That usually works. Okay, explain. Well, since we obviously don't make bad shows because we decide what's bad or not our stupid audience, right? Let's just blame it on the fans. Wait, what? Okay, so just tell everyone they're too stupid to realize how good it is and then immediately fire back at anyone that has a remotely different opinion? Yep, exactly. And then we could say the reason people do hate it is because we have an ethnically diverse lead. Yes, that's good. Yep. Calling people racist is always how you should deal with criticism, even though it doesn't actually address the real core issues of life. No, the main criticism of the show is that it just sucks dick. No, that's just a small minority of people, Kyle. There's actually a huge silent majority that absolutely loves this show. There's people that are silently liking the show. I don't know, Kyle, they're silent. No one knows who they are because they're all unbelievably violent. They exist because all the fake news articles we paid people to write say they do. Okay, that's it. This company's burning to the ground, and I don't want to be here when it does. I'm getting out of here. No, wait, Kyle, wait. Okay, so anyone know how we can make that $200 million back that just went down the drain? We can make a bunch of movie sequels and remakes that absolutely no one asked for. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money. Good encapsulation of the last, 6 years?
Yeah, pretty much.
Chef's kiss. He nailed it all. That was perfect.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.